How are you doing today, Nikki?
Good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
How's the weather?
It's nice. Yeah.
Always,
Not as hot as yesterday, but
you think yesterday was hot?
it was in Jefferson. It was for sure. Well, it was like muggy. It was like, especially towards like when the storms hit.
Yeah, I was surprised with those storms. So yesterday, I had people say it was kind of hot. And for me, I always start with the weather for some reason. And I'll say the same thing. I'm like, no, the weather's nice on my side. But then, we got hit by storms. So my daughter's in softball and I'm doing a little bit of softball coaching. So it was picture day. And then we were supposed to have practice at 6:30. And then one of the coaches saying, hey, we might probably cancel. I'm like, cancel? Yeah, there's like storms. And I check, I'm like, I don't see anything. So we start. And then I don't know, like 20 minutes later, there's like, the sky is all gray. There's lightning and this and that, and wind. I'm like, okay, well, I've never seen that happen. But it's all right. So, Nikki, what do you do?
I am a brewer and co-owner at Jefferson Beer Supply.
So we've seen y'all, or actually we tasted y'all stuff before. Elk Point, they had what was it? They were showing this kind of like a documentary type of thing.
Oh yeah. Through South Dakota PBS.
Yeah. And then I think y'all guys rolled up there too. And my wife, and I joke around a lot, but this is why I say she's amazing at drinking. She's great. She's great at it. So funny thing though, I don't drink. My wife does, but I don't drink because I never had I just never drank in my life.
Yeah.
There's no reason like, oh, is it because of this? I'm like, I just never had it.
Yeah. And there's a lot, our space is not just about the beer. So we always have a lot of non-alcoholic options. And we have a lot of offerings for kids and stuff too. So, it's getting more common too, like a lot less people are drinking or people are going through like sober periods, like they'll take a month off or whatever. And I think it's great. everyone's got to be in control and do what's right for them.
Yeah. Because so I've never been to like a brewery. I've been to one. Well, I've been to one in Sioux. It was, I think, in Sioux Falls, and I thought brewery, and then they were finding because they were having a like a baby shower or gender reveal, something like that, and they invited the kids. I was like, that's weird. Why would you invite families and kids to a brewery? Funny thing, I thought breweries were like a bar, but they're not. And then same thing when this brewery popped up right here in Vermillion. It was common for families to go, and I was like, that's kind of strange. And now I understand, like when sometimes we'll sell food there, and my wife will have a drink, and I'll grab like a root beer or something, and my daughter, same thing, she'll grab something else. They got board games, this and that. I'm guessing it's kind of similar with y'all a little bit. Yeah,
and a lot of that is like German drinking culture, like especially when there was like the wave of German immigration, like in the 1800s. It kind of changed the drinking culture a little bit. And over there, they drink all day. They have beer gardens, and they drink the low alcohol. So that's like a much different drinking culture than like before that, like Prohibition in the United States and whatnot. Everyone was drinking, just like vodka and, is a whole different culture. Or even you can think about kind of like English, like pub culture versus like German beer garden culture. German beer garden culture is like more like a daytime family thing.
How familiar with like a Latin or a Mexican culture on drinking?
I mean, I know quite a lot about different Mexican styles of beer. Craft beer in Mexico is really big right now. And then also there's a lot of cool liquors that are specific to Mexico that I think are really interesting. And even in like our area, like Raicilla. Do you know Raicilla? It's like an agave spirit from Jalisco, Mexico.
Oh, really?
And like in Sioux City and Siouxland, there's a really huge Jalisco population. So actually there's this new business in South Sioux, Nebraska. That's a Raicilla business that sells this liquor. They make it on their family farm in Mexico near Jalisco, and then sell it in Sioux City.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay, so I didn't know. I know there's a big Hispanic population. I didn't know a lot of them are from Jalisco.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go investigate that.
That's cool. I shouldn't like pigeonhole, it's really crazy. Some of this I know just because of our food truck partners, but It's really a diverse population in Siouxland of all different Latino cultures, but there is a really big Jalisco population.
If you are enjoying this and want to be a guest or sponsor, email me at vermillionunplugged@gmail.com. Okay.
Yeah.
When we came here in 2020, I'll go a little off topic. We came here in 2020, and I was very, very nervous because I'm from Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, and I was like, man, it's gonna be a kind of big culture shock, kind of ish. And then I found Sioux City because at first when we were shopping here, so my wife is from Mexico, my daughter was born in Mexico also, and we were wondering, man, where are we gonna get like the ingredients? Because Walmart Hy-Vee doesn't have a lot of stuff we use, mostly like the chiles, the dried ones. And then lucky enough we went to Sioux City. Oh snap! Okay, I feel like kind of just back at home.
Yeah.
So it surprised me. So I'm very curious. How did y'all guys start? Is this what you always wanted to do, or?
Well, I didn't. So I've been brewing professionally for like over 10 years now. Mostly in other states before this. I got started brewing in Wisconsin, and then I moved to Colorado and worked for like a big brewery there called Left Hand. And there I really learned a lot about like brewing science and brewing technology. And then my partner's from Jefferson, South Dakota. So we moved back here to be near family, and we thought we were going to move to Sioux Falls. And when I first learned to brew in Wisconsin, I worked for a startup brewery. It was like a crazy ambitious startup. It was kind of like before craft beer was getting really big. It was like the beginning of it. And then like it was really hard. It was really eye-opening and challenging to be a part of that startup. I wasn't the owner or anything. I was just a worker. But after that, I was like, I'm never going to own my own brewery ever. And then we moved here and we just, we wanted to stay we thought we were going to move to Sioux Falls. I was working for a brewery up there. But we really wanted to stay in Jefferson. And there was opportunities here because craft beer was so young here. And I don't know, we just did it. So the short answer is no, I did not always dream of doing this. I did not always think I was going to do this, but I do really love craft beer and making beer and all the cool stuff that happens around it.
When did you guys open up?
We opened about a little over 3 years ago.
Okay, yeah, I remember hearing about that. And you guys, I guess technically around this area, besides like a bigger city, you guys are like the first brewery, right? In this area?
Yeah, kind of. We are still the only brewery in our county, which is kind of crazy. Which again is kind of like that blue sky thing. Like I was in Colorado where there's a huge oversaturation of breweries, lots of big cities, crazy oversaturation of breweries. But then I moved here and like numbers wise and population wise, even though it is rural, there's like really a small amount of breweries. I mean, even South Dakota, when I first moved here, I think there was about 30 breweries in the whole state, and now there's almost 50. So
okay.
It's kind of cool.
Did you guys kind of jumpstart everything maybe?
Oh, no. There's some stuff happening in Sioux Falls and in Rapid City before we got here. But I guess it wasn't super common for breweries to be in small towns when we first moved here. But now there really are starting to be a lot of really tiny little microbreweries in small towns, especially in Southeast South Dakota.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So another thing because when you guys, because I remember looking you guys at Facebook and everything, I noticed that y'all guys also had food, like food trucks and this and that. Is that also a common thing with breweries, or did you guys also wanted to do food and all that stuff?
Yeah. So it's common in breweries in other cities, but it was not common when we first moved here, and so especially in Sioux City, Siouxland, down by us. And so that was something that really helped us get started a lot because it was like a cool, exciting thing people were watching on TV and stuff, but it wasn't like happening in real life. So, I just like called a bunch of people and got some trucks there and and I was thinking about it when we designed our space, like our patio, our electric, we have electric plug for food trucks. We set ourselves up for food trucks from the beginning because we had seen how it worked in other cities. And all of that really helped a lot. So. Oh,
okay. I don't know if you know this person. His name is John Cole.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the mayor. He was, it was 2 or 3, no, I'm going to say something like that. A few years ago, because we were starting, we have a little side thing only like in the summer. Sometimes we'll make like tacos, street tacos, just like how my wife does in Mexico. And I remember John saying that, hey, because I think we were doing like they had like a Thursday on the plot, so we were doing stuff right here in downtown outside. And he told me, he said, hey, if you need some contact, he said Jefferson Beer Supply. We just never went out there. I think the farthest we ever been to was there's a place in Oak Point called the Flourish Flower Farm.
Yeah.
So that's the farthest we've been to. But yeah, he told me about that. So I was like, all these, Jefferson start. You guys keep popping up everywhere on my side. But how has it been throughout these past few years? Have you liked it? Is there some up and downs, or what does it feel like being an owner of a brewery?
I mean, it's crazy every day. It's a lot. Like, it has its ups and downs. I feel like I knew what I was getting into because I had worked at some startups before, and I worked at big and small breweries before. But I don't think I could have imagined what it would look like now, like when we first started. So we kind of keep growing as we can and doing what we can and trying to prioritize what's important to us and do what happens kind of organically and based on numbers and sales. And that's kind of how we plan our growth. And it's been wild.
No, that's cool. What's y'all's, I guess, what type of beer or what kinds do you guys got? What are the flavors and everything?
I say, so a lot of breweries will focus on a specific style, like a German style or English style, or even like just light beers or something. Because we're in the because we're in a rural area, we have, our town is only like 500 people, but we pull a lot from our county. We pull from all the surrounding towns. We pull people who are there not to drink at all, just to hang out. We do pull beer nerds, from Omaha and Sioux Falls, people that, are touring beer nerds. And then we also get a decent amount of tourists off the highway, especially like on their way to other parts of South Dakota. So we really have to try hard to please a lot of audiences. So I kind of say we focus on low alcohol beer. The other reason being that we're in a more rural area. So a lot of times people are driving to see us. And also it's just like a really family environment, laid back environment, day drinking kind of environment. People aren't really coming to our space to get trashed. They're just coming to relax and be in the sunshine and have a good time. And so we kind of focus on low alcohol beer.
Okay, so that's what I've noticed too. Because when y'all guys and the brewery over here popped up, I was telling my wife, I was like, man, there's gonna be it's gonna be filled with college students, this and that. And then my wife was like, no, it's a little more different. Same thing. I don't know too much about all this stuff, but she knows a little bit more. So yeah, now I know that people aren't there to get trashed, just have a nice, good time. Same thing with families, and no, it's been cool.
Yeah, we've only had one person throw up, and it was a 2-year-old. And we did have one fight, and it was legitimately over a game of Scrabble. Like someone got really mad and flipped the Scrabble board.
Really?
So those are like our two big rowdy stories. We're not like a super rowdy place.
What else? So do you also live in that area too?
Yeah, I do. And honestly, like a lot of our employees do, which is really great for a lot of different reasons. So
how do you like it over there?
It's great. It's a really nice life. It's the quietest place I've ever lived. The soil's great. So you can have like a really great garden, which I love. It's a small town, and I don't think I understood what it meant to live in a small town until I actually did it. So there's pros and cons to living in a small town.
So where are you originally from then?
I'm from St. Louis.
Oh, snap. Well, how'd you get all the way over here?
Well, my partner's from Jefferson. So him and I met in undergrad and kind of moved all over together, and then came here.
Was it a big change for you, or did you not mind, or how was it?
The small town thing?
Yeah.
No, I didn't mind. I mean, I think there's huge opportunities here. Like, why does anyone move to South Dakota? Why does anyone move to Vermillion? I think there's like great opportunities and great culture, and you can do things here that you can't do other places. Like I would never be able to have a brewery or own my own business in a big city just because the barrier to entry is like so high, you know?
You're right. There's a lot of opportunities, especially I'll just give a few examples. Well, I'll talk about like a little bit about the food thing that we do. I'll say my wife, because actually my wife does it. She does most of it. She just tells me what to do. She and I joke around too, but it is kind of scary. So she has that. She's not like a chef, but she loves cooking food, and she like we'll watch videos and this and that. Like she has that. What's that word called? Passion.
Mhm.
Like she loves it. So, but when that first day, I know I'm just joking. So she might get mad at me. But that first day when we were like selling food out on the street, she was. You're familiar with like Gordon Ramsay and all that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, she was just like that. She was like yelling at me and my daughter and this and that. And then she's like, but I know I'm just joking around, but she's one of those hardcore people. But speaking about the opportunities, yeah, like around this area, we didn't have they had before they had Mamacitas and El Nopal, they had Mexico Viejo, which I think it was fine. I like it. I like it's more Tex-Mex, which I'm familiar with the Tex-Mex food, but there wasn't that like authentic the authentic stuff. Like I'll give you an example, just tacos, just authentic tacos. So my wife had the idea. She was like, "Hey, let's just do it around here." And I'm like, "Yeah, there's no one else. No one else is doing it." So we popped it up, and yeah, it was great. And the only thing that kind of I did not know, I thought everyone knew what like a taco was, and I had a lot of people, from the area that they did not know what it was. One of them they thought they're like, does it have lettuce, tomato, sour cream, cheeses? I'm like, no. And what does it have? Oh, it just has cilantro and onion. That's just the only time. And salsa. So that's it. I'm like, well, yeah. Like, where are you guys getting your tacos? And same thing. I've had people that are like, oh yeah, can I get a hard shell? I'm like, hard shell? What? So stuff like that. I thought it was very common, but apparently not. And then one thing that it aggravates me a little bit, but I'm just joking around. Like when they say, "Can I get sour cream on it?" I hate that so much. I don't know. I hate it. And then one thing I don't know what it is, but like it happens a lot actually over there at the flower farm when we're there in the summer a few times. I have a menu right there, and the tacos that we usually have is bistec, which is your regular carne asada stuff like that. Then we have chorizo, and then there's an al pastor. And then you pick whatever salsas. We have a green, we have a red, which Myra makes. And for some reason, I don't know what it is, but I do get a lot of people, I show them the menu. The menu's right here. It's super clean and it's a few items. That's it. Toppings. And then they'll look at the menu. Oh yeah, I also have tacos, tortas, and quesadillas. Homemade tortilla, flour tortillas. I'm telling my wife this. Oh. But I show them the menu and then they're like, okay. Can I get some hard shell chicken tacos with sour cream? And I'm like, we don't have that.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you guys have? I'm like, whatever's on the menu. I'm trying to be like calm, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that we encounter. It makes me think of so many things we encounter similarly too. I mean, sometimes, especially in like the craft maker, whatever spaces where people are really passionate about their product, it's not always like, you can make the best beer ever, the best tacos ever, etc. But there's all this other stuff that's like super important that you don't realize until you start doing it. So in our area, both with the beers and sometimes with the food trucks, there is like a lot of education, for lack of a better word, that has to happen. I don't even mean it in like a snooty way. I mean like, these are new products. Like, how do you sell them? How do you get them out to people? And you have to do it in a way that's like accessible to them, but also like true to yourself and like true to your craft. And so it's challenging sometimes, and we've learned a lot in that regard.
Yeah, it is, especially like when you make something and you want like I'll just give the example of the food. Like we don't want to we want to be like, for example, as authentic. It represents us, family, culture, whatever, and we want to give the authentic things. And I understand like the Midwestern Americanized whatever. They're like, oh well, I'd rather prefer like ground beef or whatever, or cheese and this and that. I hear it when they say, "Oh, the customer's always right." I'm like, "Well, not all the time. I don't like that."
Yeah.
I just, but you want to get them to try something different without them kind of, which I've had that a few times when I remember this. It went fine it was a summer and it was started raining. I remember that we had this elderly lady come, and then she's the one. She said, "Hey, what do you guys have?" And we're like, "Oh, we have tacos." She's like, "Is it ground beef?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "What is it?" And I explained, like, "Oh, it's this. What toppings?" And I said, "Cilantro onion." She's like, and I'm like, she's like, "Oh, I think she said, I'll grab 2. And I'm like, okay. So we prepared it, and then she goes into her car. And then I remember me and my wife were talking, like, man, dude, I think she's gonna hate it. And then she comes out, and I'm like, oh no, she's gonna say it sucks. And she was like, "Oh, these tacos, I've never had them, but they're really, really good." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, thank you." But I want to be as authentic. What would you say pairs good with y'all's beer? What kind of food?
Oh, I love beer and food. What kind of beer?
Oh,
Or
so
what
okay.
kind of food?
Well, what kind
yeah.
of? Let's say, okay. What kind of? I'm gonna throw it out. Let's say, oh, okay, tacos. Well,
Yeah.
what kind of beer would you pair with that?
Oh, well,
At
it
y'all's
depends
place?
what kind of tacos.
Oh, so okay.
We do a lot of beer dinners at the brewery too, especially in the fall, like kind of like about October through like March or so. We'll do a lot of beer dinners where we'll have a chef come in and we'll do 4 courses with 4 beers. And those have been going over really well. Tacos, I mean, I guess it depends. Seafood, which we have seafood tacos kind of a lot. We'll do something citrusy, something bright. We always have a lot of sour beers, and the sour beers are really fun. We have a line we call Surf Rock Sour, which is some combination of tropical fruits like coconut, key lime, mango, pineapple, guava. So those pair well with the seafood tacos. I think like darker, maltier beers pair well with like steak or beef. So a stout, or right now we have a really good English porter that would pair well with some beef. And then also, I like pork is good for a lot of our weirder things. Like if we have a Belgian beer or a spiced beer or a beer with apples, which we do in the fall. So we brew pretty seasonally. We have a new beer come out pretty much every week. And then we have like a handful of flagships or regular beers that we have on all the time. So we have about like 3 to 4 of those depending on the season. And then our other 18 taps are all rotating new seasonal stuff.
What's the difference between like a light and a dark beer?
Well, there's a whole spectrum.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
I mean, the color comes from the malt, or sometimes the fruit can add a tiny bit of color, or the hops can add a tiny bit of color, but mostly the color comes from the malt. So dark beers have like malts that have been cooked longer. So I think about malt a lot the same way I think about cooking. Like, so the process of making beer is barley is the base grain for most of it. You might add some oats or spelt or rice or corn, but barley is the bulk of it. So barley's grown in the field, and then there's this middle step that a lot of people don't know about called malting, or a maltster. So the farmer grows the barley, the maltster takes the barley, and the barley is just a seed. So the maltster's job is to bring as much sugar as possible out of the seed. Because that's basically what a lot of seeds are, is sugar, vitamins, basically everything a plant needs to get started. So the maltster will soak the barley, and the root will start to come out. It'll start to sprout, just like the sprouts like on your sandwich. And then as soon as the sprout is about to pop out of the husk, the maltster will hurry up and stop the process and dry the malt, or cook it. And in that cooking, sometimes a lot of different flavors happen. So most base grain is just barely cooked, but when you start to get into the darker malts, some of the grain is caramelized. just like caramelizing onions. Some of the grain gets that Maillard reaction, which is just kind of like browning meat. You know how when you brown meat, you get like the Maillard reaction. Or some grains are even roasted, like similar to how coffee is roasted. And then you get those dark roasty flavors. So all those processes kind of add color too. So sorry for my long answer, but
Okay. No, I didn't know. I didn't know
Yeah.
about all that. Well, so what type of beer do you like? What's your favorite? Or if there's like a group of them or?
you know, my favorite is always whatever I'm working on, like whatever is most like right in front of my face the most. I mean, I drink a lot of light beer.
Mm-hmm.
We have a really good light beer that we made with the Corn Seed Company down the road from us. So it's an American light lager, and it has some corn in it because the corn helps dry it out, and provide like some of those simpler sugars that you need to get like a really crisp finish. I also really love IPAs. We have an IPA that uses, it's one of our flagship IPAs that we have all the time. It's called Grasshopper Cross. And first off, the name comes from the history of our town, which is really interesting. But also the hops come from Yankton. So they have like this really dank, earthy flavor mixed with, we use some fruitier hops that kind of give some like pineapple notes. So I really love that IPA a lot because it's both bitter and dank and fruity and crisp. And in general, I love hops.
Cool. And then these 3 beers that we got right here, can you explain what we got?
Yeah.
My wife's going to love
actually,
them.
this one is the one we made with the Corn Seed Company. So we first made it for Farmer Appreciation like 2 years ago, and everyone loved it so much. We just kept making it. So it's the Southern Plains Light Lager. And that's where the Southern Plains name, it comes from the Corn Seed Company that we made it with.
Yeah.
And then next is Working Class Hero, which is a beer we just made with the Sioux City Museum. That's about the history of porters in the 1700s and 1800s. So it's a really traditional recipe based off an old English style. The style used to be like the most popular beer style for like a period of about 30 years or so. So actually, we're having a history talk with the historian about the style on Thursday that I'm very excited about. And then this last beer, a big part of our brewery is like we try really hard to make the culture we want to be a part of. So we have a lot of employee stuff that's kind of built into that. We have really great employees, and we try to make it a team business instead of like a top-down business. So this last beer we have here, every employee gets to brew a beer they're choosing once a year. Like and people come at it lots of different ways. Maybe they might have an idea for a funny name. This one, her kid drew the label.
That's cool.
Or they might use it as a fundraiser, or they might have like a food item that inspired them. So this one is an apricot blonde called Apriclaw, brewed by one of our brewers, Amanda. And also on the label, we wrote a song about Amanda.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask how I always get these like brain farts and everything. But with now I do remember. So how do you brew beer? Like what's the process like? I don't know nothing about this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, stop me because I could just talk about it all day.
No worries. Yeah.
We're just brewing today before I came. We're brewing a double brew, so 2 batches, kind of back to back to save heat and energy and time. Really, the brewer's job is just to make sugar water, the perfect, most awesome sugar water, and then the yeast eats the sugar and produces the alcohol. So the main step is you just mix grain in hot water. And then you add yeast and let it ferment. And that's about it. But the ins and outs, the chemistry, the water profile, the pH, the exact ingredients, the grind of the grain, all of that plays a huge part.
Do you have to have some type of, I don't know, maybe it's different for a business, but like if I want to do it on my own for some reason, do I have to have a license, or can anyone do it, or do you have to register stuff like that?
Homebrewing was legal. So for a while, homebrewing was illegal. That means brewing beer at home, and distilling is actually still illegal in most states, I think.
Is that the moonshine type of thing?
Yeah, distilling means making spirits like vodka, rum, etc., whatever.
Oh, so that's illegal.
At home.
Okay.
Without a license.
Yeah.
You can brew legally, like in South Dakota, you can brew up to 15 gallons a year without a license.
Why is it? I know this is like a dumb question, but why is it illegal?
Prohibition.
That's when.
So what prohibition, it's crazy how much prohibition like still affects all the alcohol laws. And each state has totally different sets of laws because after prohibition, each state just kind of like did whatever they wanted. But yeah, like, you know, prohibition was in the 1920s and still the effects of it are huge. Like even one thing I love, and I would love to get more into is apples. And, you know, there used to be like all kinds of varieties of apples all over the country. And during Prohibition, the Prohibitionists burned all the apple fields because they were just being used to make cider. And now we have like very few American apples.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Something, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. I just learned it. So here in, I want to say correct me, South Dakota. Like, for example, what is it called? There's a certain certain number of liquor licenses.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why? Because I know some other states don't have, I don't even think Texas has that.
I mean, actually in South Dakota, so there's liquor license, malt beverage license, production license, there's all kinds of things. And in South Dakota, they're a lot easier to get than in other states. Okay. It's all controlled at the state level. So the state allocates how many liquor license each city gets, how many malt beverage license. So beer is just considered a malt beverage. You don't need a liquor license.
Okay.
It's a little bit boring, but you know, in some other states, like, and even in other cities, like I bet a liquor license is pretty expensive in Sioux Falls, but in some other states, liquor license sell for like millions of dollars. I'm not even kidding. Oh,
I've heard around this area that who told me? Someone told me that when a liquor license goes up, I think they start like there's a bid. I don't know, some type of thing.
There's like a limited number, so then there's a whole bidding.
Yeah, that they start. If I remember right, he says somewhere like 150,000. I'm like, for a little license.
But you know, that's like shout out to anyone looking for an opportunity. There's a liquor license available in Jefferson right now. We would love to have a new business down there, and that's the cool thing about Jefferson and about small towns is there's opportunities you wouldn't have anywhere else.
Okay. How come you guys don't want to pick up the liquor license? Or is it like because that's a percentage of
alcohol? It would be liquor. So it would be like bourbon, whiskey, etc. That's just not the direction we're growing. I mean, I talked a little bit like I said, we're not a drunk place. We don't want to be a drunk place. And we're a little bit more focused on food and growing some out. And actually, we want to make mead. And I also would like to start making some non-alcoholic products. So all of those things, you know, when it's hard to make the right decision when you're growing a business because there's all these different ways you can grow, all these opportunities you can take. And I just don't think the liquor license is right for us right now.
What about wine? Have you ever dove into like making wine, or is that a completely different process?
So we do sell wine at the brewery, so in South Dakota, again, back to Prohibition, cider is considered a wine in South Dakota, which is any fermented apple product like hard cider. Mead, which is like fermented honey, is also considered a wine in South Dakota. So we sell a lot of cider and mead because they're gluten-free and they're really fun and exciting. But we have to get a winemaking license to make them. So, and we have to do it at the state level and the federal level. So we're in the process of getting our federal wine license so then we can get our state wine license so then we can make our own cider. Right now we sell cider made mostly in Michigan.
What about tequila? Or would you not dive into that? Or is that the same thing, a different process?
Yeah, so that's a third one. You'd need a distilling license for that.
Oh, is that?
And distilling is getting more popular. There's a couple distilleries in South Dakota. There's a big one trying to open in Sioux City right now. It really cost a lot of money because it takes like years to make spirits.
Oh, man. Okay.
And so you have to basically, like beer, we invest in it. at the beginning of the month, and by the end of the month, we're selling it and making money off of it. Spirits like tequila, you have to do all your investment, now, and like in 2 or 3 years, you can make money off of it.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, it's like I'm not interested in getting people trashed.
Okay. No worries. So,
yeah. But it's exciting, like science and process. And yeah, it uses a lot of the same equipment as brewing.
Okay. It's all
and the same grain. Well, not tequila specifically, but other distilled spirits use barley, the same barley as us.
So if you had like, so let's say you wanted to make a product, like any, it could be like wine, tequila or something. It doesn't have to be for like sale, but you just wanted to do it. Let's say that's your next step. What would you, or out of those products, what would you want to do? Or you mentioned mead, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the next step.
Yeah, I really want to make mead and cider. And I've done some sample batches of mead, like gone out and brewed with my friends in Rapid City who are making mead to get my feet wet. And
okay, so now I'm gonna ask you this question, and I always ask my wife about it because I just don't understand, or maybe it's just me. So why do people like, or for yourself, why do you drink alcohol? Because I never drank alcohol. I've tasted it before and I smelled it and I'm like, man, this smells, I don't like it. And then usually like my wife's like, yeah, that, and more people, they're like, yeah, beer doesn't taste that great. But I'm guessing, buying like Bud Light or Coors is different than what y'all guys have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, why do you drink?
I mean, I honestly am not a huge drinker, but I am very passionate about beer. And I think when beer is at its best, it's a way to just like relax a little bit. It loosens you up. It kind of lets go, especially like I love having a beer at like 4 or 5 o'clock after the workday's over, sitting with some people that I like. And you just like, you can feel the tension leaving your body, and just kind of takes that edge off a little bit and helps you just relax and be in good company and have a good time.
I think it's probably the same. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably the same way as, so another example, like, when my wife cooks, she's learning how to do baking stuff. So she just her and my daughter made a cake, and yeah, having a slice is fine. But if you, eat the whole entire cake, of course it's going to make you sick. So it's probably the same thing with, just kind of be careful. I think that's the same analogy.
Yeah, totally. And back to like the Bud Light or Coors Light. I mean, I do think our products are better. We use
they sound better too.
Higher quality ingredients. We have all the, if you just only drink light beer and you don't like it, well, there's still, literally hundreds of other styles to try. Like we have a stout month in February where we do a lot of pastry inspired stouts. So we'll do like a Black Forest cake stout or a coffee espresso stout, or we did like a banana French toast, maple syrup stout. Those beers are almost more like desserts. The sours, right now we have a strawberry pretzel fluff sour. That's strawberries, marshmallows, pretzels, and salt. And I mean, there's just like so many different access points. I mean, some of these beers are about culture. The strawberry pretzel fluff is like our South Dakota culture. But even like further back, the English culture, or like we did a hot Takis sour.
What? Really?
Yeah. It was really fun. Sometimes beer is like a way to introduce people to new flavors and cultures that they wouldn't experience otherwise. But the other reason to drink our beer, I mean, instead of Bud Light, is the economic impact. Like we're here for our community. It's a little bit about like keeping wealth in our community, spending locally. We employ local people, like all of it. Like one of our goals, right, in our mission statement is to use beer as a tool to build prosperity and wealth in our community. And we take that very seriously. I mean, other reasons to drink our beer and not Bud Light is our space. We have like a lot of community events. That it's more about like being in the space and sharing that space with each other than getting drunk.
Oh, did you guys also remember? I'm remembering when they had that Elk Point documentary. Did y'all guys, if you remember, did you have a flavor that was like Oreo or something like that?
Yeah, that was the Oreo Fluff Stout.
Yeah, so that's the one because I remember you guys had that and my wife was tasting it and she was like, "It tastes like Oreo." I'm like, "Really?" And I was like trying to smell it and I was like, "It smells sweet," but she's like, "Yeah, it tastes like an Oreo." I'm like, "That's well." I just I didn't know you could add different flavors to beer, so that's really really cool. But speaking of like the events and all the other guys you guys have, I see that right now you guys have a Tower Park Mini Music Fest on Saturday the 24th. So what is that? What's going on?
Yeah, it's really fun. So there's also a park right behind our brewery. So there's a playground for the kids. There's a pavilion. There's a baseball field. So a lot of people will come have a beer and their kids can play. And so we like to take advantage of the park. And it's a little bit of that, like our other main guiding point for us is like making the culture you want to be a part of. Or like another way to say it is like, if you want cool shit to happen in your town, you have to do cool shit. Sorry, I don't know if we can swear or not.
Oh, that's all good.
And so this music festival, it's like we have this awesome park, we should use it. So this is the second year we're doing it. Last year it was a little bit more of like a blues theme. This year it kind of still has the blues theme, but we wanted to make it a little broader. So we have this youth jazz band of high school kids that is the opener, and they're really so fun. They have great energy. And then we have our buddy Alex, which there's like a cool story about him, but he's the lead singer of a band called Ghost Cat that's been around for a long time. And then the Dojo Saints is like a 3-person rock band from Sioux City. And then Dane Lewis is like a Sioux City sweetheart. He's like country rock. And we got like a cool stage, lights. It's going to be 2 different food trucks there, activity booth for the kids, bubbles. So it's going to be really fun.
Okay, I think I need to head over there. And I'm looking at y'all's the calendar you guys have, and I think I've heard of this place. So it's because I'm looking on Friday, and Friday is my birthday, so I'm trying to also figure out, hey, what other things can we do? And I see you guys have Antojitos Doña Carmen.
Yeah.
What does she sell? Or what do they sell?
So they're new, and like I said, we have a lot of different Mexican trucks come all the time, but they're all different. And so the Jalisco style Mexican is pretty common around us, but some of her items, I think they're more like Mexico City style street food. So she does a fried quesadilla that's really good. And then multiple different sandwiches, not just a torta. She does this one sandwich with potatoes that the whole thing is fried. I can't remember the name of it.
Is it called, does one of the items, are they called like pambazos?
Yeah, that's exactly what it's called.
Really? So she has that. Oh, snap. I'm excited.
And her chorizo is really good. Her green sauce is really good. So we've only had her once so far. So I personally had the bambazo and the fried quesadilla. So next time I'll have to try something else.
Okay.
And then she like has 3 different kinds of cheeses that she uses. And one is like the squeaky cheese. It's really good.
Oh, snap. See, when I mentioned that and you said, yeah, the pambazos, it gets me very excited. And then I see another one. So I'm familiar with Corn Dog Company. That's the one that had like a honey
dog. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, I won't say last year because I saw them on Facebook, and I don't know if they're going to be here in a few weeks or something, or they're already here. But yeah, my wife saw it and she's like, hey, you want to try this corn dog? I'm like, corn dog? And she's like, yeah, it's like a little food truck. I'm like, why would I get a corn dog? I've had corn dogs before. And she said, yeah, but it has honey. I'm like, I really don't want to try it. But of course, she likes trying different things. I like trying different things, but I'm just like a corn dog. But yeah, we tried that one. And I was like, wow, this thing is bombing, man. This is pretty good. I don't know what it was. And then we saw them they had a Centerville Fall Festival. And same thing, I think it was over there. It was really, really good. There's another one called Kai Tai. What is that?
Oh, Kai Tai is really big in our area. So we just had our food truck battle, and we do that once a year. And Kai Tai won again. It's Thai food, Laos food, a little bit of Chinese items on the menu. But yeah, their chef, she just came from Laos a couple of years ago, and she's really amazing.
Oh,
the sauces are. I just had it last night for dinner. They one of my favorite dishes is beef jerky with sticky rice, and then it has like this amazing spicy lemongrass sauce that comes with it. It's so good.
What? How do you now? See, I'm a little jealous around this area, but how are you guys getting all these people? Like, because it's very hard, and I know a lot of people because I talk to them. You know, they want more like food trucks. They want a lot of more different things, but it's very I don't know. Well, I know like 19 breweries working on some of that stuff, but it's very hard to get like a different type of, I guess, diverse stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a lot about making connections. I mean, the corn dog truck you mentioned, so the one that comes to Vermillion, I think, is the truck from Sioux Falls. It's a chain, but the family that owns the Sioux City one, they're from Jalisco, actually.
What?
Yeah, and I know like their uncle or something owns the same corn dog truck in Omaha. So I don't know if it's one of their family members that owns the Sioux Falls one or not too, but they've been coming since the beginning. Like we mutually took a chance on each other and they had success. And, you know, our area is like a little bit of a food desert. There's not a ton of restaurant, even restaurant just closed in Elk Point. You know, there's not a lot in North Sioux. And there's not, you know, even a lot in Vermillion. And, so anyway, that corn dog company, we built a really good relationship with our family from the beginning. And then they told their other friend that was opening a truck. And then they told their friend that was opening a truck. And then the other part a little bit is the marketing, you know, like, I think we've done a lot of partnerships. We've partnered with over like 200 other small businesses since we've opened. And you have to find ones that like work for both audiences. And then you can't like just schedule it or just book it. You have to like follow through on the details. You got to help with the pictures, help with the marketing, whatever it might be. I mean, like some of these food truck, our one trivia host, he's Irish and his family has lived in Jefferson for like 4 generations, maybe more. And sometimes I forget which, I think it was Big Red Tacos, which is birria, California style tacos.
Yeah.
They were there the one night and he was like, my Irish ancestors would be rolling over in their grave if they knew food this spicy was being served in Jefferson. But it's like, we got to like make it accessible to people. And, you know, we have to explain what birria is or explain what this is. And it all kind of helps to like build mutual success. And
yeah, it's really, man, I actually need to go check y'all guys out because I've never seen that many. You guys got a lot of stuff. I've just never seen that before. And it's cool because, you know, me and my wife, we like trying different things, and especially the kai tai, I like that one. Funny thing is, I know right here you guys got Cinco de Mayo and you guys got the tacos. Yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. One of our friends' kids texted my wife, said, "Hey, for Cinco de Mayo, what do you guys normally have?"
yeah.
And then what we were saying, like, we don't technically celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever you guys want, it's fine. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah,
but...
and we, you know, I know that actually I was just listening to Siouxland Public Media story with like 4 different Latino business owners in Siouxland. I was basically explaining like, you know, that it wasn't a holiday and that it's only for this really small city and all this other stuff. And I've known that. I think the first year we didn't do anything special for Cinco de Mayo, but then I realized like how much people want it. True. Like, so I remember the second year I called up my buddy Mariana, who she did a food truck with us for a long time, but now has her own brick and mortar. I'm like so happy for her. But I'm like, dude, like you can make a bunch of money. I can make a bunch of money. Like this is good for business. So again, this year too, you know, we're partnering with a truck and we always have a lime beer in the summer. It's hard to, you can't like sell your soul for the business, but at the same time, it's a business.
True. Hey, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. One of the things with my wife, because we had tacos on the menu, and then I wanted tortas, and then she was like, hey, let's do the quesadillas. And I'm like, quesadillas though, because I'm like, well, what kind? Because the ones they have here, I'm not too much of a fan. They're a little more different than the ones that, you know, where my family's from. But so here we'll make it a little bit different. We'll make same thing. When she makes them, so it's a flour. I mentioned it's a flour tortilla, but she makes them handmade. And I'm gonna go on a tangent right here. So maybe I'm just spoiled. So flour tortillas, I love flour tortillas. If they're homemade, I'll eat like 12 of them. If they're from a store, for some reason, it's just me, and I'm probably being very picky. I cannot eat them. They have a weird smell. I don't know if it's because of all the, if people, like go to your local Walmart or somewhere. If you look at the flour tortillas, all the ingredients, it has I don't know what it is, which is very, very funny because usually a flour tortilla, it's not a secret. It's flour, some warm water, baking powder, and you need a fat. So you can either use like an oil or a lard. I've seen some people use like butter, and that's it. So I don't know what it is, but anyways, I just had to say that. But yeah, with the quesadilla, so yeah, it's a flour tortilla, and then same thing. You can pick whatever type of meat, and usually they're bigger, and then the difference is the cheese. Because I told Myra, I was like, we could do the quesadillas, but I do not want to use that mozzarella type of stuff. It's not. I haven't seen it in Mexico where my family's from. It's not common. Let's use like a Oaxaca cheese if we could find it. Luckily, Sioux City has them, so we got it. And apparently, around here, people love cheese a lot. I like cheese; it's okay, but they love cheese. So, her idea helped a lot. They're like, a lot of people like that. They're like, hey, do you have cheese? I'm like, okay, yeah, where's the cheese? But yeah, you gotta. I understand, you kind of be authentic, but also cater to it, and this and that. But I need how's the rest of the year? I know usually summer's really good. Mm-hmm. What about winter? How's that stuff for y'all?
We have to get creative, and we're doing more every year. I mean, so we have a giant patio. It's dog friendly. It's kid friendly. It's really sunny. So we definitely are very seasonal. Like this week, I'm looking at the weather, and I know this week is going to be like our pop-off week. Mm-hmm. And then it'll go like really pretty busy. So, 7 days a week until Oktoberfest, which is like at the end of September. That's kind of our last really big summer like event. In the winter, we get creative. So we sell more at draft accounts. Like we sell in Vermillion. We're on tap in Vermillion. We're on tap in Sioux Falls. Mm. We're on tap in Sioux City. So in the winter, we focus a little bit more on our distribution. And then the beer dinners bring people in. We do different Christmas events. Also, since our town is really family oriented, a lot of people come back to our town for the holidays.
Oh, okay.
So Thanksgiving is always big for us. Then this year we did these crazy Thanksgiving beers that were really fun. Christmas is really interesting for us. And sometimes in the winter, it's like actually when we can get the most creative, because in the summer, there's a lot of demand. We have to keep this style up. We have to keep this brewed. But in the winter, we have a little bit more freedom to like do creative stuff.
Okay, that's great. At y'all's brewery, do you guys also have like a kitchen? Or no?
So we just opened up. We slowly built. We don't have any investors. We just put money in when we can. And we finally just opened our kitchen 3 years in. I really wish it would have been opened like 2 years ago or right when we started, but we didn't have $1 million.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. So we just started offering in-house food about like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So we have the food trucks Fridays, Sundays, and Mondays. Sundays and Mondays, our house kitchen is closed, and it's just the food trucks and pizzas. Mm. And then the rest of the week, we have big giant pretzels, beer cheese, macaroni and cheese for the kids. We have nachos, chicken sandwich. So it's just like a small menu for now, but the pretzels are really fun. They're like 2 pounds, and we got like a German mustard, a honey mustard, and then the cheese. It's good.
Have you ever guys had someone sell tamales there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, Mariana, that I just mentioned earlier, she came to us with our food truck. Actually, she came to us in January and was like, I bought a food truck in October. I didn't realize I couldn't run it through the winter. I need to sell food. She brought me tamales and like these really delicious spicy potatoes.
Mhm.
And she was like, please, can I sell food here? And I'm like, well, we don't, our business isn't crazy busy in January, but her and I rode out the winter together, and now she's really successful.
See, man, that is, you guys, I like how you guys, you guys do a lot of collaborations. That's really, really cool. But so we're hitting that hour mark.
Sorry, man.
No, it's all good. If I had like 3 hours on this stuff, it'd be great. But I'll give you guys the last thing, last words, anything you want to. Where can people find you guys at? I'll put links and everything.
If you don't, we're on Facebook, Jefferson Beer Supply. If you're not into Facebook, we're on Instagram. We also send out a newsletter a couple times a month. If you just want to stay off the socials entirely. And if you're looking for us in person, we're always on tap at Dakota Brick House and at Wimps in Burbank, and or come down to us. We're open 7 days a week, family friendly, dog friendly. We're just about a little over 20 minutes from Vermillion, so we'd love to have you.
Sweet. All right.
And we'll be at Ribs, Rods, and Rock and Roll, and then we always do the On the Platts event. And we would love to get more involved in the Vermillion community.
Sweet. All right. I think we should be good, but I want to thank you so much, Nicki.
Yeah, thanks a lot.